Let me tell you a truth that might make you feel hopeless. You can never truly die. This isn't a superpower. It's the universe's cruelest curse on consciousness. Think back for a moment. Even if it was just once, have you ever had a near-death experience? Maybe a truck that almost hit you, or a flower pot falling from a high building that barely missed. The truth is, in that moment, you actually died. In another parallel world, your body is being cremated. Your family is crying at your funeral. But in your consciousness, you simply feel like you narrowly escaped danger. This is the idea of quantum immortality, a theory so unsettling that it turns normal physics into something that feels like a ghost story. In this theory, your consciousness never disappears. Every time death approaches, the world instantly splits. In one version, you die. In another, you continue to live. Even at the end of the world, when Earth explodes, as long as there is even a single particle that allows you to survive, your consciousness will be forced into that reality. Even if, by then, you're so old that only your eyes remain, even if humanity is completely extinct and you're the only one left, lying in the dark universe, unable to die. This kind of loneliness, worse than hell, might be the true message behind Schrodinger's cat. Now, take your phone a little farther away and take a deep breath, because what comes next might keep you awake tonight. It might even make you question whether your current existence is just an illusion. To understand this curse of being unable to die, we need to go back 100 years to the origin of physics that even drove Einstein mad. In our everyday understanding, the world is deterministic. If you drop a glass, it breaks. That's it. It can't be both broken and intact at the same time. But in the microscopic quantum world, everything falls apart. As early as the 20th century, physicists discovered that tiny particles like electrons can exist in multiple places at once. It's like you coming home from work, watching TV in the living room while also cooking in the kitchen at the same time. Sounds like madness, right? But this is one of the core foundations of quantum mechanics called superposition. So here's the question. If particles can exist in multiple states at once, why do we only ever see one outcome in the macroscopic world? Why have you never seen a cat that is both dead and alive, or a glass that is both broken and whole? To explain this, the famous physicist Bohr proposed a bold idea, the Copenhagen interpretation. He said that before you observe the world, it exists as a cloud of probabilities with countless possibilities. But the moment you look at it, when observation occurs, those possibilities collapse into a single reality. In other words, your observation kills all other possibilities. Sounds a bit philosophical, right? Many people didn't believe it, especially Einstein, who famously said God does not play dice. While physicists were arguing endlessly, in 1957, a young man from Princeton proposed an even crazier idea, one that was logically flawless and pushed humanity toward the abyss of quantum immortality. His name was Hugh Everett. He proposed the many worlds interpretation. Even if you're not interested in physics, you should listen carefully, because this theory is directly tied to your life and death. Everett argued that when you observe the world, the wave function doesn't collapse. Those other possibilities don't disappear. Instead, the universe splits. Imagine holding a gun connected to a quantum trigger. Every time you pull it, there's a 50% chance it fires and a 50% chance it jams. The moment you pull the trigger, the universe splits into two. In universe, the gun fires. You die instantly. Your family mourns you, and your story ends. But here's the key. The dead have no consciousness. You cannot experience death. It is nothingness. In Universe B, the gun jams. You survive. You feel the fear, but you're alive. Your consciousness can only exist in the universe where you're still alive, So that's the only reality you experience. If you repeat the experiment, the universe splits again and again. From your first-person perspective, no matter how many times you pull the trigger, you will always experience survival, even if the probability is practically zero. This is the famous quantum suicide thought experiment. You need to understand, you won't die and others see you not dying are two completely different things. From an outsider's perspective, in most universes, you are dead, but in your own continuous stream of consciousness, you always remain in the timeline where you survive, like some kind of invincibility cheat code. Sounds like a good thing? Not at all. This is where the real horror begins. Quantum immortality doesn't guarantee a healthy life. It only guarantees survival. Imagine a horrific car accident. In most universes, you die instantly. But in a few rare ones, your vital organs barely avoid fatal damage. Your consciousness is forced into those branches. There, you might be paralyzed, severely burned, blind, unable to hear, lying in an ICU, in constant agony. You want to die, to end the suffering. But every time death approaches again, the universe splits, and you're forced into the version where you survive and continue suffering. That's why this is the cruelest curse. Death should be the final relief, the end of pain. But quantum immortality takes that away from you. It traps you between probabilities, forcing you to watch yourself decay, unable to ever truly close your eyes. And then there's the Mandela effect. Many people clearly remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, but in our reality, he died in 2013. Thousands share this false memory. But what if, under the many worlds framework, our original universe actually ended in some catastrophic event, nuclear war, an asteroid impact, and our collective consciousness jumped into this safer timeline? That's why memories don't match history. Think about your childhood. Have you ever narrowly escaped certain death? Maybe you were drowning, and someone pulled you out. Maybe you got shocked, and somehow survived. In most universes, you didn't make it. The fact that you're here now, watching this, is an incredibly unlikely miracle. You are the sole survivor of your own story, walking on the corpses of countless versions of yourself. And this still isn't the end. Because eventually, the universe itself will die. According to the second law of thermodynamics, everything will decay into heat death. Stars will burn out, black holes will evaporate, and the universe will become a frozen void. At that point, humanity should be long gone. But remember the curse. Your consciousness must exist in a branch where you're still alive. Even if your body is gone, quantum mechanics might produce something even stranger, a Boltzmann brain. Through random fluctuations, particles might spontaneously form a conscious brain with your memories, your thoughts. That would be you floating alone in an eternal, silent void. No body, no senses, no sound, no one else, just endless thought. You want to die, but you can't. Time loses meaning. A second feels like a billion years. And that might be the true definition of hell. Not fire, not pain, but eternal, conscious, absolute loneliness. Of course, scientists are cautious about this theory. Physicists like David Deutsch suggest that your weight in surviving branches might diminish over time, your consciousness fading like a weak radio signal. Or perhaps consciousness depends on biological structures, and once the brain is destroyed, quantum immortality simply fails. That might be the best possible outcome. But even as just a theory, it forces us to rethink everything. If death isn't the end, if every close call was actually real death in another world, then every second you're living right now is the only path carved out by countless versions of you who didn't make it. Every moment you take for granted, scrolling your phone, feeling bored, is something other versions of you will never experience again. In those worlds, your family is grieving you. But you're still here. So the next time you wake up suddenly at night or feel a strange sense of deja vu, don't be afraid. Maybe that's just another version of you, and their final moment, reaching across reality to tell you one thing: live well. For me, because your existence, right now, is the greatest miracle in the universe.